Hey there, Greg with Boom Up Engineering. Here we are on the tailgate of the pickup on about a perfect Sunday afternoon, fall in Tennessee. I can tell you this is probably the best time of the year for somebody like me who's not from the south and somebody can't deal with heat and humidity. The fall is actually pretty nice. Things dry out, humidity's not so high, get some frost in the morning, which is actually kind of nice. I've got my Monkey Beaver 1.0 harness here. I got a few things in, figured it might be helpful to those unfamiliar with their equipment, what to expect or maybe what to purchase for a couple small items. I've in the past I may have said that I'm completely satisfied with the Monkey Beaver 1.0 harness. I don't need the 2.0, but anyway, there's one feature on these 1.0s which is absolutely necessary for me, and it's these leg loop restraint straps. I don't know what you want to call them, but the anti-castration strap. It's what keeps these leg loops from sliding up your thigh, up your legs as you're doing your work. That's obviously going to be it's going to be less of an issue for some and more for others. And for me, once I even just heard about these existing, I knew that would be a solution to my problem, so I had to have those. But anyway, I do a lot of solo climbing. I may or may not have my kids with me, but in either case, need to have a cell phone on me. So how do you carry a cell phone? I can't stuff a cell phone in my climbing pants pockets because the leg straps bear down on it, and it's just not a good deal. So what do you do? What do you buy for a cell phone case? Monkey Beaver does have these cases. In the past, I kind of really didn't consider them too much because the original case is literally probably a couple inches wider than this. It's a huge case meant to fit the biggest of phones and to be able to get your phone in and out real easy. So once I saw that they had a newer model here, a slimmed up version, I figured out that's the one for me that I want to get. I didn't know if I was going to put it on the saddle itself along the waist or up on suspenders if I was going to get suspenders. I'm still, down south it's kind of hard to want to put anything more on than you need to, and suspenders is just one more thing to get completely soaked with sweat and get gross in short time. But at least when the weather's nice, yeah, I can wear suspenders. And so I've got a pair of, I guess, fairly minimalistic suspenders here. We can talk about those, but back to the cell phone case. It is handy to maybe have it up on your shoulder. It's easy to get to. If you're controlling a camera or doing some stuff, it might be nice to have the phone on your suspenders, but Monkey Beaver does make it easy to attach to the loops on the belt, just the way they do their straps. I don't know if you can see this very good or not, but the way they set up the strap and buckle here, this feeds right through the webbing on the belt and makes it easy to really anchor this cell phone case down pretty good. So I've got it on my right side of my belt there just to try out, and could also maybe put it on my suspenders here. Maybe I'll put the harness on a little bit so you can see how this all lays out. So I don't know who else would make stuff like this. I know Klein has some nice cell phone cases, but I think most of theirs clip on with a metal clip back here. It's meant to slip over an 1.5 inch or a 2-inch wide belt, I believe, in one of their tool belts. So I don't know. They look similar, but they might have a magnetic closure on them, which could be good or bad depending on how much crawling you do through the canopy and whatnot. But I can show you what a Samsung S20 looks like in this case. I'm just grabbing it off of my tripod there. So, Samsung S20. This S20 has an OtterBox, fairly thick casing on it, so it would slip in easier if I had just my typical, I don't know what you call those, TPU or whatever that. It's not silicone, but whatever those cheap cases usually are. But this slips right in. You wouldn't want to have much bigger than that. There is elastic in there where this can stretch open, and it'll probably soften up a little bit over time, but it fits in there pretty pretty easily. So again, I prefer this newer model over the original case, which takes up a lot of space and just seems a bit excessive for what I would prefer. So 35 bucks, monkeybeaver.com. The other thing I got while I was ordering is one thing I forgot when I ordered the harness, and that was one of these high quality H2O holders. Again, I don't know, I'm sure there's other stuff out there, but I think it was about the same size, same cost as a cell phone case, you know, in that $30 range, give or take. But it gets the job done. You can use it for other stuff. I've got a knife clipped inside of it right now. This is one of those titanium utility knives. Trying to think who made this. O-Knife, which I think is just a spin-off of O-Light. They just make LED flashlights and whatnot, but figured if I was gonna always carry something, you know, get something light, and it's always there. Man, these little Asian bugs are killing me. You know, those ladybug knockoffs, they're just everywhere here. And I think this is not my typical Nalgene bottle. My kids took them all. I had to get some more of the 32 ounces, but I think they're the same diameter. You can see it fits in there really nice. And there's a cinch strap on there, so you can cinch these things down if you need to. I had this bag from previous, you know, if you need to be carrying tools and slings and things up in the tree. This bag by B-E-A-L, it's a decent bag. It's kind of made out of the, you know, those dry bags. You know, it's a fairly tough material, and I think it's fairly probably waterproof. It does have a drain in the bottom, if you can see that. But it's got a couple spring clips you can clip onto the little metal D-rings on the back of the harness, excuse me, or whatever. But for a bigger bag, you know, I was just tossing a water bottle in there, tossed my phone in there until I got this stuff. But these are actually kind of nice too. They got like a spring, some spring steel in there where it kind of keeps the top closed. So if you don't want it full of sawdust or, you know, things falling out super easy, you can just squeeze it and it kind of springs closed. It's kind of in the shape of that crescent there, and it's got a couple loops on the outside. So I don't know, I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if they sell these much in the States. I think that came on one of my orders. Ordered from Europe somewhere when I think I got my Zigzag and a few other Petzl things and some other cheap stuff from over in Europe. What else? I did replace my bridge on here. So a little while back, I went to an adjustable bridge on this Monkey Beaver, and I don't go through huge adjustments on here, but it is kind of nice, I guess, to be able to really cinch up the bridge and get it real short. And so I've got a Petzl Adjust on here. Got that in some of my other videos, but that's a Petzl Adjust. Now those always come with a rope. Like it came with a rope, this blue rope here, but I have since kind of whacked this up and done a foot loop with it. So that's a super nice foot loop. I can go to the stirrup, you know, what I put on my foot, clip into that, and then clip this to my Rope Runner Pro. But that's not the best. Maybe unisender, you know, if I want to do some rope walking without a foot ascender, or just, you know, any adjustable piece sling here. So I really like these Petzl Adjusts. You know, it just makes it super easy to adjust. But anyway, I've got a 5-foot piece of Beeline. What do they call that? It's not a prusik, but a split tail. I haven't really gotten into all the manual climbing stuff. I mean, I know a lot of the ideas behind it. I just haven't done it a bunch, and I guess that's what this is for. But 5 foot was a nice length to get me a reasonable length bridge. Give me a little adjustability. I could take this loop off of there and put a knot right at the end to have a little more length adjustment. But before that, I had ordered a couple bridges from Arbo Space, and I bought stuff from them before, and we got our wires crossed, and they, you know, I ended up getting sent the wrong slings or bridges. You know, they're supposed to stitch an eye on one end and give me about 7 feet of, let's see, 9.5 millimeter of their Thunder rope or cordage, that's what this is. So I ended up buying some more, and they were supposed to put eyes on it, and they didn't get put on there on the 9.5. They had previously sent me some 11 millimeter. 11 millimeter is just too big for this Petzl Adjust. You have to have 9.5 or thereabouts. So I've got this 9.5 millimeter Thunder from them, and you know, I know a lot of people get just, I've read through some of the forums and whatnot, they just go crazy if you told them you stitched an end on one of these ropes. And I gave it a shot. I mean, you know, so the way I've got things doubled up. You know, there's no knots on here. It's on my bridge. You know, it's two-parted, and then it's connected to 2 points on me. So there's not a lot of load on this stuff. So I figured out what the heck, we'll give it a go. You know, watch how other people did it, and I stitched it up with some strong, I can't remember, point, I don't even know what size thread I used, but I used some might have been even Dyneema thread, which may not be the best, because the thread, you don't want the thread too strong that it just cuts through the cordage that it's being stitched. But anyway, I changed this out just for the fun of it. But what I'll probably do at some point is, whenever I remember, I'll grab I do have a 10,000 pound load cell, and I'll get out a 3-ton come along, and we'll do a little bit of a load test on here just to see how good I did. But you know, I stitched through it and did the 3 different passes and all that stuff, and then I had some extra thread left over, so I actually whipped around it, which probably helps quite a bit. And then I put some heat shrink on there so that there's no wear and tear. But I didn't really run this that long. But so when I saw they had 5-foot ready-made sections of Beeline for, like, you know, I think it got on sale for like 25 bucks or so, I figured, oh, what the heck, we'll just swap it out, and that way I know I'm good. Which they got some pretty short splices on theirs. But anyway, I mean, when you start considering how much strength you lose just for tying a knot in cordage and whatnot, and how much they slip and then they break at the knot and stuff, it's like, yeah, this is hard to quantify, but I mean, there's a whole discussion there, and you can't just go recommending that people do it by themselves, because they can't quantify it, they can't repeat it, and all that fun stuff. Of course, you can't always just blindly trust manufacturers either. And I see a lot of sloppily sewn eyes on slings where, you know, the stitching is way off center and stuff like that. And who knows if they account for that, if they have tolerances on that, or if they have good enough QC and whatnot. But when you look at the breaking strength of everything, you know, and the breaking strength of your body, you know, what is the limiting factor? You just have to, sometimes you just have to start applying common sense. But I know, I get it, it's tough. So I swapped that out with the Beeline. This Thunder is supposed to be similar to the, what is it, Sterling, I don't remember what they call that, but this is a lanyard, and it's got that Sterling with a Technora cover and a polyamide inner core. And that's supposed to be what this Thunder is from Arbospace. I don't know if there's any major differences between the two, you know, the 9.5 millimeter versus the 11 millimeter. I don't think so, but I have not cut any of this Sterling, but I do know that the Thunder cuts pretty easily. You know, I'm not a huge expert on all the different fibers. I know Dyneema is really tough to cut, and you know, beyond that, I mean, you could have a Dyneema rope, and it takes a long time to cut through it with a razor blade, or it can anyway. I know the Beeline is pretty tough to cut through. I didn't cut this particular piece, but I got some others, and it's actually pretty hard to cut through with I've got a razor cutter that has a anvil with maybe a nylon anvil, and it's got a razor blade that comes down used for cutting cordage, and it actually was pretty hard to cut some other Beeline that I had, but it was pretty easy to cut through this stuff. So not that I'm hugely concerned about cut resistance on my bridge here, but it was just something I noticed. So I was wondering if there is much difference between the Arbospace Thunder versus the Sterling, but I think those two are pretty similar. You know, the Beeline, again, you know, it's aramid, or it's not Dyneema, but it's pretty strong stuff, and it's pretty high on its heat resistance. Of course, I think both of these must be, if this is used for hitch cord, they're both used hitch cord. So yeah, I don't know. It's all interesting. We're all learning here. The other thing I mentioned was the suspenders. You know, I wanted to try a very minimalistic set of suspenders. And yes, I wanted to maybe order the new Monkey Beaver suspenders. They look a lot better. They're Rev 2 or whatever you want to call it. They look pretty good. And you know, I mentioned I'm down here in the south and things get hot, and I just wanted the most minimalist set of suspenders I could find. Well, I'm going to try these. I haven't used them yet. I just put them on the harness yesterday to fit them up. These are Courant suspenders here. Yeah, let's see, Koala. I think that's the name they have. There's a harness, and they got these suspenders to go with it. And so you can see that they're pretty minimalistic. They got a center strap down the back, so I just split the two D-rings with a piece of Dyneema throw line for now. Good enough. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And then it clips in the front D's. So you can see they're pretty minimalistic. We'll see how they hold up. And you know, I didn't want to have a ton of padding up here that was just going to soak up sweat and just get gross really fast. Now these may attract sawdust really bad. You know, that may be one downside. You know, I'd probably be happy with just, you know, 1.5 inch or 1.5 inch webbing, because I don't need suspenders to really hold up my saddle that much. I guess if I was hauling a huge saw around all the time, maybe, but any other time I just don't need suspenders. I mean, use a lightweight climbing saw, 2511 is my preference. So, you know, I don't have a ton of weight trying to pull my britches down, but I will say that, you know, coming from construction, I feel weird having a belt on but no suspenders. You know, because anytime you put on a piece of fall protection, a harness, you're all suspended in, leg wraps, sometimes a belt around you, and you feel good. And you know, I don't. If you got knocked unconscious and you were in one of these, I dang near think I would probably spill over. I'll have to mess with that some more and do some trial runs and stuff and see how I hang if I'm completely knocked out when I'm climbing and I don't have a lanyard on. But if you have a fairly heavy upper body, you know, I do have some weight in my legs, but I think I'm gonna have my head pointed towards the ground, I think, if I was to get conked out. So we're gonna give these suspenders a try. I don't see why they won't work out. Here, let's maybe we'll pause the camera and we'll try these things on. Here, we'll just edit it out. Puppy, what are you doing? Pretty nice day, huh, puppy? Okay, we got the harness on, and just figured I'd show you the suspenders real quick. Like I say, I haven't really used them yet. I got them yesterday and got them hooked up. So they're going to fit a little bit different than the Monkey Beavers. It looked to me like the Monkey Beavers come around your shoulders, and then they got some curvage to them to get them over to the sides where your rings are at on the harness. So this more comes down and then has the strap further down, and then it cuts over at an angle to the ring. So some differences there. The Monkey Beavers would be nice because I think they've got a high bridge on them to set up your lanyard or whatever you're going to use to get your ascender descender to follow with you. So this one here, you know, they got some loops on here, and there's some things I figure I'm going to do. I'll just have to give it a try. So see how it lays out. It's coming off of my climb line, or a throw line there. So I may shorten that a little bit, or I don't know. We'll see. But like I say, these are the best I could find, or at least I thought that would be fairly minimalist suspenders that would still, you know, have some structure to them, some strength. Edelrid has some suspenders, or I guess it's more of a chest harness. I don't even know if it really ties to your I don't know if it's meant to be tied to your harness, but I saw it at one of the shows, and it looked pretty nice. I mean, it was nice and lightweight, and it had a stretchy cord in it that I think started in the back and came forward, so you can use that to tend your climbing device. But it just, like I say, doesn't really tie to the harness. So figured we'd give this a go first and see how it does. You know, these things, these suspenders here run, I don't know, I think normal price is about 120 bucks, but I got them on sale for 95 or something like that. So not too bad. They're going to be even more than I want in the hot summer, but maybe most of the year I'll try to wear them or something. We'll see how it works out, but it'll make it easier to tend my climbing device. But yeah, see what you think. I just quickly threw the cell phone holder right there to see if it made sense. You could maybe put it up higher, but we'll see. Anyway, got any questions, comments, or concerns? Just give me a message below, and yeah, we'll go from there. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching.